The spot wasn't just a bar. It was the living room of Oakhaven. On this warm June night, laughter and Marvin Gaye's voice filled the air, blending with the scent of Lena's famous wings. Marcus and Lena, the heart of the place, moved among friends and neighbors, their smiles as familiar as the worn velvet bar stools. Old Mr. Henderson played chess with young Jamal, while nurses from the clinic unwound by the jukebox. The spot was more than brick and mortar. It was a sanctuary, a heartbeat of the community. Here, everyone belonged. Here, they were family. The world outside couldn't touch them. Marcus caught Lena's eye, sharing a look of quiet pride. The clinking of glasses, the low hum of conversation, the golden light, everything felt safe. The night was peaceful, the troubles of the week forgotten, or so they thought. The first sign of trouble was a sudden, inexplicable chill. A draft crept through the room, making the nurses shiver and Marcus frown. He checked the air conditioning and the door. Nothing was out of place. The music faltered, then resumed, but the mood had shifted. Lena felt it too, a coldness that didn't belong. The laughter faded, replaced by uneasy glances. Mr. Henderson sniffed the air, his expression darkening. There was a faint, metallic smell, old coins or blood. He said nothing, but his posture stiffened. The warmth of the spot was pierced by a sense of wrongness. Conversations resumed, but the ease was gone. A single dissonant note lingered in the air. The front door creaked open, silencing the room. 3 men entered, their skin unnaturally pale, their movements eerily synchronized. They scanned the bar with cold, appraising eyes. Outsiders, hostile and silent. Their presence drained the warmth from the air. The record hissed on the turntable, amplifying the tension. Marcus set down his glass, standing tall behind the bar. "Can I help you, gentlemen?" he asked, voice steady. The leader's gaze landed on Lena, a thin, unsettling smile on his lips. The other 2 subtly blocked the exit. The living room had become a cage, and the predators were inside. Silence pressed in, thick and heavy, a suffocating blanket woven from unspoken fears. The air itself seemed to vibrate with a low, almost imperceptible hum of dread. Every shadow stretched a little longer, every creak of the old building amplified into a potential threat. Lena edged closer to the kitchen, each step measured, each breath held. Her heart pounded a frantic rhythm against her ribs, a desperate drumbeat in the oppressive quiet. The metallic tang of fear coated her tongue. She and Marcus exchanged a look, a silent language spoken in the depths of shared danger. It was a look that conveyed volumes, warning, understanding, and a grim acceptance of what might be coming. The patrons waited, united in quiet readiness, a silent army poised on the precipice of the unknown. Each held their breath, a collective anticipation hanging in the air like a shroud. Jamal shifted, the leather of his jacket creaking softly in the stillness. He recognized the cold entitlement in the stranger's eyes, a predatory gleam that sent a shiver down his spine. It was the look of those who believed they were owed something and were prepared to take it by force. Mr. Henderson coughed, a signal, a prearranged cue passed down through years of quiet vigilance. 2 taps on the chessboard locked the back door, a subtle message delivered with the weight of unspoken urgency. Marcus, without looking away from the leader, his gaze unwavering, pressed the button under the bar, securing the rear exit, trapping them all inside. His hand found the baseball bat beneath the counter, the familiar weight a small comfort in the face of growing dread. The leader's smile widened, a predatory display, teeth a little too sharp, hinting at something unnatural lurking beneath the surface. "Lovely place you have here," he rasped, his voice a low growl that resonated with barely suppressed menace, voice slithering through the silence like a venomous serpent. "So much life, so much warmth." He inhaled deeply, savoring the air as if it were a fine wine, a connoisseur appreciating the bouquet of fear and desperation. "We were just passing through," he continued, his tone deceptively casual, eyes snapping open, revealing a hunger that burned with unnatural intensity. "And we grew so very thirsty." He licked his lips, a gesture that was far from innocent. The words dripped with menace, each syllable a drop of poison seeping into the already tense atmosphere. The room tensed, the silence now a taut wire stretched to its breaking point. Every instinct screaming that the threat was real, palpable and closing in. Marcus gripped the bat tighter, his knuckles bone white against the worn wood. Lena's hand hovered near a kitchen knife, her fingers trembling slightly as she weighed the deadly potential in her palm. The patrons braced themselves, each steeling their resolve for the inevitable clash. A community on the edge, bound together by fear and a shared determination to survive. The leader's companions fanned out, their movements fluid and predatory, blocking hope of escape, tightening the noose around their unsuspecting prey. The spot's heartbeat quickened, the very foundations of the building seeming to tremble with anticipation. Fear pulsing through its walls, a tangible presence that permeated every corner of the room. The predators had announced their hunger, their intentions laid bare for all to see. The first move was coming, the inevitable spark that would ignite the powder keg. Thirsty. A single word, uttered with a chilling resonance that cut through the bar's atmosphere. It was a word that carried the weight of centuries, the hunger of an ancient predator. The word confirmed everyone's worst fear. The casual facade, the veneer of normalcy, shattered like glass. Panic began to spread, a silent wave of dread washing over the patrons of the spot. They understood with a chilling certainty that they were no longer in a safe place. This wasn't a robbery, not in the conventional sense. It was something far older, far darker, something that preyed on more than just wallets and jewelry. It was a hunger that craved something far more vital. "We've got water," Marcus offered, his voice strained but steady. "Soda, beer. But I don't think that's what you want." He knew with a sinking feeling that no ordinary beverage would quench this particular thirst. "Time to leave," Marcus stated firmly, trying to maintain control of the situation. The leader chuckled, a low, guttural sound that sent shivers down spines, stepping forward into the dim light. "We've only just arrived. The hospitality is welcoming." His words dripped with sarcasm, a thinly veiled threat hanging in the air. Under the flickering neon light, his human mask slipped, revealing the monster beneath. His eyes flashed red, burning with an unholy light, and his skin became waxy and translucent, stretched taut over sharpened features. The illusion shattered. The predator was revealed in all its terrifying glory. One vampire blurred to the nurse's table with supernatural speed, reaching for a woman frozen in terror. "Be still," he hissed, his voice a venomous whisper that promised pain and oblivion. Her scream shattered the tension, a primal cry of fear that echoed through the suddenly silent bar. And chaos erupted, a maelstrom of panic and desperation as the patrons realized the true danger they faced. The attack began, a swift and brutal assault on the unsuspecting, not with a bang, but with terrifying speed, a blur of motion that defied human perception. The leader bared his fangs, long and sharp, glistening in the dim light. "We are a different kind of clientele," he announced, his voice amplified with unnatural power. "We don't pay with money," he sneered, dismissing the concept with a wave of his hand. He gestured at the terrified crowd, his eyes gleaming with predatory hunger. "We prefer a more personal transaction." The air thickened with fear, heavy and suffocating as the vampires circled their prey. The spot was no longer a haven, a place of refuge from the outside world. It was a hunting ground, a place where the line between predator and prey had been irrevocably drawn. The time for whispers was over. The time for action had arrived. Marcus raised the bat, his knuckles white as he gripped the familiar weapon. Lena gripped a knife, its blade glinting in the dim light, her eyes narrowed with determination. The community braced for the fight of their lives, standing together against an enemy they barely understood. The monsters had come to feed, and the spot was about to become a battleground. The nurse's scream broke the paralysis. I vaulted over the bar, bat raised, swinging at the vampire, threatening her. He caught the bat mid-air, surprised by my defiance. Lena hurled a hot skillet, striking the creature's head. The grip loosened. I swung again, connecting with a snarl of pain. The fight was on. Mr. Henderson flipped the chess table, tripping another vampire. "Jamal, the chairs!" he barked. Jamal grabbed a chair, wielding it as a shield. The patrons rallied, fighting as one. The leader watched, irritated. He'd underestimated us. He raised a hand, signaling his companions to regroup. "We'll have to be more forceful," he hissed. The real battle was about to begin. The spot became a fortress, its people united. The nurses armed themselves, curtain rods, salt shakers, anything at hand. "Salt! Throw salt!" one shouted, desperate for any edge. Mr. Henderson directed the defense. "Block the entrance! Use the tables!" Jamal and others barricaded the door, trapping the vampires inside. We fought with everything. Broken bottles, bar stools, clouds of salt. The vampires recoiled, slowed but not stopped, Lena, knives in hand, coordinated from the rear. "Break chair legs! Make stakes! Aim for the chest!" I swung my bat, a bulwark at the front. The bar bled and broke, but its heart refused to die. Every patron fought, every voice joined in defiance. The invaders paid for every inch. The spot would not surrender. The battle raged. Splintered wood, spilled liquor, and blood filled the air. But hope was rising. The vampires, unused to resistance, began to falter. The leader, now furious, joined the fray. I fought with the strength of love and home, taking blows and giving them back. Jamal drove a chair leg into a vampire's thigh, a shriek of pain. We were hurting them. Our unity was our weapon. When one was cornered, others attacked from the sides. Mr. Henderson called out warnings. Lena spun, knives flashing. We were a family, forged in warmth, tempered in fire. The leader saw the tide turning. His companions were wounded, our resolve unbroken. He had expected easy prey, not a hornet's nest. With a roar, he charged at me, claws extended, aiming to end it. The final blow was coming. As the lead vampire lunged, a primal scream escaping his throat, his fangs bared and glinting in the dim light, I braced myself for the impact. He moved with a speed that defied human capability, a blur of darkness and fury. But then, a piercing sound cut through the chaos. A police siren wailed outside, its urgent cry echoing through the night. The sound was a stark reminder of the world beyond our immediate struggle, a world that was slowly awakening. The leader froze mid-attack, his eyes darting nervously to the window, a flicker of fear momentarily replacing the bloodlust. He knew what that sound meant, what it represented. Dawn was coming. The first rays of light were beginning to paint the horizon, a promise of safety and a death knell for creatures of the night. "We are out of time," he hissed, the words laced with venom and frustration. The rising sun was a deadline he couldn't ignore, a force more powerful than his own will. With a hateful glare that promised retribution, he smashed the window, the sound of shattering glass a violent punctuation to his retreat. He turned and fled into the fading night, desperate to escape the encroaching sunlight, his power waning with every passing moment. His companions close behind, a pack of shadows disappearing into the alleys and back streets, their reign of terror temporarily suspended. Silence fell, heavy and thick, broken only by our ragged breaths, the frantic beating of our hearts, and the siren's relentless approach, growing louder with each passing second. The spot was wrecked, a scene of utter chaos and destruction, but we were alive, miraculously unscathed despite the ferocity of the attack. We had stood our ground, fought back against the darkness, and survived the night, a testament to our resilience and the strength of our community. My muscles ached, my hands trembled, and I dropped the bat, the weight of it suddenly unbearable. I stumbled forward, embracing Lena, burying my face in her hair as the community gathered around us, battered but proud, united by the shared trauma and the victory we had achieved. Sunlight streamed through the shattered glass, illuminating the room with a golden glow, illuminating something glinting on the floor amidst the debris. A delicate silver locket. Curiosity piqued, I picked it up, my fingers brushing against the cool metal, and carefully opened it. Inside, nestled against the velvet lining, was a meticulously drawn map of Oakhaven, marked with a series of ominous red X's. The clinic, a place of healing, now potentially a target, the community center, the heart of our town, the church, a beacon of faith and hope. And the spot, our sanctuary, circled not once but twice, a clear indication of their primary objective. A chilling realization washed over me. The attack wasn't random, a senseless act of violence. This was only the beginning, a calculated strike in a much larger, more sinister plan. We had won the battle, a hard-fought victory against overwhelming odds. But the war for Oakhaven, for our very survival, had just begun. The Spot's family stood together, a motley crew of survivors bound by loyalty and a shared determination, ready to face whatever darkness would come next, armed with the knowledge that we were not alone and that we would not surrender. The sun rose on survivors, not victims, casting long shadows that stretched across the town, a symbol of our resilience and our unwavering spirit. Our sanctuary had been tested, pushed to its limits, and endured, standing as a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. The fight for Oakhaven was far from over, and we knew with a chilling certainty that the worst was yet to come.